Hello, Math 7 students. We are beginning our video for Lesson 21. The name of our video for today is Markups and Commissions. Okay, and we find that on page 50 of my comp book. So here I am on page 50. This is, again, a little bit of a review because we did spend a little bit of time on markups and commissions, and so we're going to revisit some of those ideas. The goal for today we will practice markups and commissions with tape diagrams. The question that I want you to be thinking about is, how do you know how many sections are in your tape diagram? Okay. Things to know. Quick review of what we've been working with. A markup is the amount of money added to the original price to make it more expensive. That is very, very true. Sales price, the amount of money you pay after the store increases the price. Commission is the amount of money an employee gets from a sale. And the word of always means to multiply. Okay? Something that I also need you to remember and be aware of is to apply markups or commissions, they must be in decimal or fraction form. So if it has a percent next to it, you have to turn it into a decimal or you have to turn it into a fraction before you can actually practice it. Tape diagram. The first one that we're going to work on is the store marked up all of their shirts by 10%. The original cost of the shirt you want is $12. How much do you have to pay? So that's the problem that we're going to work on together. So if we're using the same technique that we learned yesterday with discounts, we're going to follow that same technique right here. So the markup is 10%. 10% can be turned into 10 out of 100, and it can be simplified down to 1/10. So we know by looking at this fraction right here that there are 10 sections in my tape diagram. The cost of the shirt originally was $12. So I take 12 and I divide it by 10 and I get $1.20. So $1.20 goes into each section of my tape. So now I've drawn a tape diagram. My next step, instead of crossing it out like a discount, because remember a discount is the amount you take away, a markup is the amount you add. So instead of crossing it out, we're going to circle it this time. So the second step is to circle the amount of the markup. It says 1/10, so I circle one of the sections. And the amount inside is $1.20. The third step is to add the markup amount to the original price. So the original price was $12. The markup price was $1.20. So you add those two together, and the cost of the shirt now is $13.20. Notice that your shirt was $12. Now it's $13.20 because the store marked it up. So the markup amount was $1.20. The sales price was $13.20. Okay? All right, so let's try another one. See if it gets a little bit easier. The airlines can fly a person from Phoenix to Los Angeles for $25. They mark up the flight by 9/10. How much do you pay for the flight? What is the markup? So your job is to figure out what is the markup and what would you pay for the flight. So again, our rate is 9/10, so we have to draw a tape diagram. We already know what the denominator is. Again, the denominator was 10, so I drew a tape that has 10 sections. And then $25 was the cost of the flight, so I took 25 and divided it by 10, and I got $2.50. So I put $2.50 in each box, and that's how I drew my tape. Now I'm supposed to circle the amount of the markup, and it said that the markup was 9/10. So I have to circle 9 of the sections out of the 10 because that's the markup. Then I add the markup amount to the original price. So I have 9 $2.50s. Well, 9 $2.50 is actually $22.50 because you take $2.50 times 9 and you get $22.50. That is the markup amount. So $22.50 gets added to the original $25, and now the flight from Phoenix to Los Angeles cost $47.50. It was marked up by $22.50. So the markup is $22.50. The sales price altogether is $47.50. So do you see how companies are making a ton of money because they mark things up? Okay. All right, so now we're going to turn the page. We have a couple more to practice. Because we're also talking about commissions, I would like to do a couple of problems with commissions. So the next problem is actually a commission problem. Again, I'm starting a new page, so I have markups and commissions up at the top, like I'm supposed to, write a title on every page. And this time, it's a story about a car salesman. A car salesman sold a car for $48,000. That's a lot of money for a car. Think about like a big SUV, like a Toyota or a Mercedes. The company gives the commission for the sales. He earned 1/12 for commission. So that means he gets...
Joseph Picos, please come to the office. Your mother is looking for you. Joseph Picos.
So he earns 1/12 for commission. What was his earnings? Okay, so your job is to figure out what was the amount he made from the commission of 1/12. Well, we can use the tape diagram again, just like we've been doing so far. So we know that the total cost was $48,000. We know that the denominator tells us how many sections, so I drew a piece of tape, divided it into 12 sections, okay? And then I have to say, okay, 48,000 divided into 12 sections is 4,000 in each. So I put 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. I know that it was 4,000 because I took 48,000 and divided it by 12. So I drew my tape diagram. Now I have to circle the commission. Well, it's 1 out of the 12, so I circle 1. And that, boys and girls, is your commission. So the commission, what the car salesman got from the sale of his car, is he got to take home $4,000 out of the $48,000. Okay? Commission is pretty easy because you don't have to add it or subtract it. You just have to circle it, and it's sitting right there. Okay, so we have one more problem, and I'm actually going to make you do this one by yourself, okay? So the last one is about a jewelry store. A jewelry store gives a commission of 60%. If Mason sells a necklace for $800, what is his commission? Okay, so remember, if it's in the form of a percent, what do you have to turn it into before you can start? If you said a decimal or a fraction, you are correct. So 60% is the same thing as 60 out of 100. Remember, you need to simplify it as small as you can. That fraction that you are simplifying it down into determines how many sections in your tape. So you need to draw a tape with the correct number of sections. You need to divide up the $800 into the total number of sections, and then you circle the commission. So pretty easy. You guys can figure that one out. All right, my dears, that's the whole thing. Let's revisit our question of the lesson. Our question of the lesson for today was, how do you know how many sections are in your tape diagram? Boys and girls, by today, you should be able to answer that very, very easily, okay? Tape diagrams are really helpful. As you can see, we used them for all of the problems that we practiced, and it made them very, very organized and very, very easy, all right? We will be doing some more practice on some actual real problems in class tomorrow, and I will see you then. Have a good one. Bye.